Hi, I'm Andrew,
And I'm Maya. Welcome to the second series of Behind the Rhymes.
the mountain we all climb. DC. The bird sits out my window, singing its spring love song. It's no more afraid than usual around as nature goes on. People put their bins out, stand in long queues, moaning about life, only the subjects have changed. The swans swim the plastic filled canals that will be here after we are gone. Young children live in blissful ignorance, dancing in the sun. The world still turns from day to night, and weather still comes, rain, snow, or shine, and people still kiss, even over screens, and write their words of love, singing our own dawn chorus.
What lies behind these rhymes, and what does the title of this poem mean, Andrew?
So I had an idea of a trilogy of poems um, before Corona, during Corona, and after Corona. And this one is during Corona, DC during Corona, or COVID. And this is really at the start of the first lockdown that happened in the UK in March last year, and just my observations on that.
It has now been over a year since the world has been dealing with the corona pandemic, but life goes on, it never stops.
Yeah, and that's point of this poem really is that everything else carried on as normal really, despite the fact that the world had changed, and it may have changed sort of in a way that will never unchange, but things still go on. People were still moaning. I mean, that actually happened to me in a supermarket. You know, before Corona, people were moaning about things, but they were moaning about having to queue.
How did you, as a medical professional, a nurse, experience the last year?
Well, I was very busy. I was redeployed to ITU twice. It's not my normal place of work. I mean, April and May of 2020 went by in an absolute blur. I struggle to remember specific times during those months. It was just a matter of work, and then trying to get over overwork basically in the things that I saw and experienced, which I then put into poems. Um, how did you experience this part of the pandemic?
I initially found it very limiting because I couldn't travel. I work in the travel business, so obviously my work has been affected. All the hard work that I put previously into designing trips for my audience. But then something very interesting happened because my freedom of movement was limited. I had to think hard where I could spend my time the months that were turned into long lockdowns and where I could go, and more importantly, who to spend my time with. So it showed me what is really important in my life. So I have both negative and positive experience of the past year.
And what about sort of speaking to people over screens, which seems to have become even more sort of the way of life?
Yes, that was the case before for me because, as you know, I have family and relatives and friends in different countries. So that wasn't a totally new experience. That has been my experience for the last 15 years. But I did find it limiting, the fact that you couldn't meet with people, hug them. So all of these things were very limiting. But I'll come back to what I've just said. I just decided who are the most important people in my life, and I've spent chunks of time with them. Now that we've discussed the poem, would you like to read it for our listeners again?
DC. The bird sits out my window, singing its spring love song. It's no more afraid than usual. Around us, nature goes on. People put their bins out, stand in long queues, moaning about life. Only the subjects have changed. The swans swim the plastic-filled canals that will be here after we are gone. Young children live in blissful ignorance, dancing in the sun. The wheel still turns from day to night, and weather still comes, rain, snow, or shine. And people still kiss, even over screens, and write their words of love, singing our own dawn chorus. You have been listening to Behind the Rhymes, the mountain we all climb, with me, Andrew.
And me, Maya. If you like this podcast, look out for more on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker,
Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Spotify.